Today, I was going to talk to you about the most amazing sound that I found that changed my path onto becoming a sound healer. This is Kalee, founder of Resonant Alchemy and of the Healing Centered System. Welcome back to this video. This is part 2 of part of my story of how I started my sound healing journey. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, you may want to go back and do that. I've linked here at the bottom of this video. Crystal singing bowls. I had a whole set. I was playing with them and I was experimenting with them. The songs were coming through me and I was writing the poetry and I was singing and playing the crystal singing bowls. I was in bliss and I was healing myself at the whole time that I was creating these songs for myself. So what happened was I was feeling like an island. I was feeling like I was the only one. I couldn't find a lot of people doing this. In fact, there was no one around that I knew of at the time that was doing sound healing like I was. I'm singing songs with the crystal bowls. And so I started to go out there in the community and experiment with the bowls. I played for bands, which I don't recommend because I broke a couple bowls through that process. I went out and played for art gallery shows, and I would do interpretive singing off the art. And so that just added this amazing other element to a person's art show, is when someone was singing their art and sounding their art and playing their art, which was amazing. I also joined a songwriters association, and I would play my songs to people who would listen in these performances, and I got heckled a lot. People were asking, well, what are we doing now, having a salad, because everyone was showing up with their typical guitar and singing their songs, and some people were really good, some people weren't. So anyway, I was doing a lot of experimentation with these, and then I discovered something that was a pivotal moment in my journey. And that was, I found a place that was actually offering a certificate in sound and becoming a sound healer. And it was called the Sound and Consciousness Institute in San Francisco. Well, I was very excited about this because I could go and meet people like me and also learn a lot about the crystal bowls and sound healing in general. And so I signed up for the Sound Healers Institute, and I took their course and I became certified. I learned about this thing called the root soul frequency. And the root soul frequency is that tone that a soul comes into the planet on. It's like the sound of your soul, that it acts as a reset button. It makes you feel uplifted, elated, and grounded at the same time. So the root soul frequency, in my experience, has been a very important and pivotal tone to find. And you can find your own. It may not be easy, but you can do it. And I will explain in a moment how you can do that. So once you find your root soul frequency, that tone that makes you feel at home, it makes you feel uplifted and grounded all at the same time. And it just puts you into a place of reset and clarity and alignment. Then you can take that information, and when you're looking for your crystal singing bowl, you can match up, or any other instruments, you can match it with that tone, and you use that tone as a base to the whole set. So for example, most people, they get a whole set of crystal singing bowls that's based on the key of C. So C would be the root tone of the whole scale. But if your note, like mine, is C sharp, then you can get a scale of C sharp with your crystal singing bowls. Also, knowing that, you can think about the perfect fifth from C sharp, and you can select your instruments accordingly. So the way that you can find your root soul frequency, and it's a note. It's not just because the tuning fork happened to be creating this within me. It wasn't really the tuning fork. It was my reaction to the tone of the tuning fork, the note. So if you have a keyboard or a piano, that would be the best way to do it. You can also find them online. So you start with a keyboard and you start with one note and you play that first note. You can start on C. play the first note, you close your eyes, you go in, and you pay attention to how it feels. Now, your root soul frequency will make you feel complete. So you'll feel grounded and uplifted at the same time. So you might want to keep a journal and keep track of the different notes and how they feel to you, and just go up the scale. Now you want to use the chromatic scale, which means C, C sharp, D, D sharp, every single note all the way up. And you can go like 3 octaves, because there might be a lower octave of that tone that works better for you. So I teach this in the Healing Sound Arts program, and I do have videos on how to find your root soul frequency while I'm playing the piano for you. But you can do it on your own if you can find a keyboard to use. You might have about 3 or a handful even of tones that sounded pretty close, that felt really close, because remember, it's more about the feeling than the sound. You just kind of compare your notes and you go back over those tones, and eventually you'll be able to find out what your root soul frequency is. And for those of you wondering, this is the tuning fork that was my first sound healing instrument that I picked up at the table. And this is the only tuning fork that the woman had in her store, which is amazing, because remember, I was walking around, I was asking for the universe to show me, give me signs, put some breadcrumbs out in my path so I know where I'm going. And I was asking, and I happened to come across my root soul frequency as my very first instrument. And it was the only C sharp or even tuning fork that she had in her store. And so this one with the dial at the bottom, this one is more for energy to come into the body. So the way that she played it was to tap it and then just put it on the chest. Feels so good every time. I will never get tired of this tuning fork. And so this is 136 hertz. And C sharp, a lower C sharp, low octave, is 136 hertz. 136 hertz is also known as the frequency of the rotation of the earth. And that really resonated for me, because I know I'm here to help planet Earth. I just know it. I'm here to hold the frequency, to transmute energy into a higher form. I'm the alchemist for the earth. I just know this to be true within myself. Please let me know in the comments if you're able to find your root soul frequency. I'd be really interested to hear your experiences. And also, if you're interested in my new free class that's coming up, it's a 3-part series. We'll be working on sound meditation, we'll be working on the voice, and we'll be working with sound journey. And this is for sensitive souls that are empathic, very intuitive, and they want a technique to transmute energy and learn how to be an alchemist and heal themselves. And also my program, the Healing Sound Arts program, is a 90-day program where you can become certified as a sound healer if you really like this information. So tune in next week, where I'll be sharing how I no longer take on anyone's energy ever again. So thank you for sharing this journey with me, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon.